Why the fuck am I not dealing any damage? What the hell? This Malphite is never going to die, what the fuck? Hello guys, me and Kris have checked the champion info on the League of Legends official webpage. We found out that there are some pretty interesting changes to some of the champions. We've made a list of which champions we're going to talk about today.
I won't miss.
So the first champion we'll take a look at is Ashe, because she was the champion that caught our attention the most in the game. Ashe has had a pretty rough time, but Riot still thought she should be nerfed. Therefore, they got the brilliant idea that her Q should actually be demoted to a useless spell. So now the damage output when the Q is procced deals exactly 0 damage. A pretty big nerf in our opinions, but it may be the touch she needed. Maybe Riot wants to force players to build Wit's End on her to actually deal damage after having procced the Q.
You wish the world you know to end.
The next champion we'll look at is Cho'Gath. First, we're gonna talk about his E. Earlier the spell dealt damage the more max HP the enemy had, but now it only scales on Cho'Gath's AP. Cho'Gath's ult is also nerfed, because it no longer scales on his own HP, but yet again only his AP. This means that it will probably become more viable to only build AP and not stack health or tankiness anymore.
Do not turn your back on me.
The third champion on our list is Cassiopeia. We have no idea if this is a buff or a nerf, because Riot has not actually said what cost mana is. Her healing has been reduced to 0, so we think the cost mana could be some kind of a damage increaser to her kit. But again, we're not sure because Riot has not said anything about it.
A great darkness approaches.
The next champion on the list is Anivia. Starting off, her Q slow has been nerfed, as it has been reduced to 0%. Also, Anivia's ult gets a little bit of a nerf too. Although it's not much and probably rather fair, we still don't think it makes sense that it will stop slowing her enemies after it becomes fully formed.
You can't milk those!
The fifth champion is Alistar. His E got nerfed quite heavily as it no longer deals damage altogether. Neither the AoE trample deals damage nor the empowered basic attack he gets after having trampled 5 times on enemy champions.
Consider yourself spanked, Nugget!
The sixth champion on the list is Corgi, the daring bombardier, or more like, the incredibly high damage dealing bombardier. First off, his ultimate got an incredibly good buff. The base damage has basically increased with 1000 from the beginning of the game. However, the big one, which is his third missile, which normally dealt a lot of more damage than the little ones, now deals 0 instead. We think this is to balance out for his smaller rockets. However, it does not make any kind of logical sense. He also got another nerf to compensate for his big buff. His package no longer deals damage unless you build him AP. This means that all of the 80 you typically build will no longer scale with his package.
Auf deinen Platz mit dir.
The next champion on the list is Aurelion Sol. His W works as usual, but no longer if you activate it. Because if you do activate it, it will deal a total of 0 damage. Yeah, this makes no sense at all.
Excellence is a trait you lack.
Camille is the next champ on the list. And because I'm a Camille main, I'm very sad to say that she is going to have a pretty tough time with the huge nerf from Riot. Her Q deals 0 bonus damage, and when you proc the true damage, it also deals 0 damage. Not to mention that the 0% of 0 bonus damage is converted to true damage. Luckily though, if you recast the Q, you can recast it in the next object seconds, whatever that's supposed to mean. All of her other scalings have been reduced to 0, meaning it will probably become more viable to build full tank on her instead of AD.
I have no fear of dragons.
Azir is the 9th champ of our list, and therefore the second last. His W has been nerfed quite a lot, as it does not have any base damage anymore. Also, the AoE which the soldier normally does to the targets nearby has been reduced to 0% damage. At least he gets max ammo soldiers now, which was pretty annoying that you couldn't have that before. One of the good things about the Azir changes is that he will now generate a soldier every 0 seconds, making his W not have any cooldown. This means that Azir is going to be very bad in the early game, but once you get enough mana and AP, this champion will really pop off. The reason for this is that in the late game he can spam spawn his soldiers and deal a shit ton amount of burst damage on his Q.
Now we turn the tide.
And now to one of the best top lane buffs in the history of League of Legends, Aatrox. His Q eliminates the need of TP in lane, as it has actually become global. If you compare this to Ezreal's ult, we can see that it actually has more range than Ezreal's. We think that we're gonna see a lot more Aatrox players in the meta, as this will really improve his power. And last but not least, his W has also gotten a buff with its 1 range. As we all know, his W helps him with sustain in lane, but we have no actual idea what it does now. We can see that it still has something to do with his missing HP, but the number of brackets and random symbols makes us quite confused if his new W is actually going to be good or not. So this was the first episode of League of Legends according to Riot's official website.
We hope you enjoyed this video because we had a lot of fun creating it.
Have a great time, guys!